let's start by, today is, June of Lord knows when, June 2nd, 2020. Thank you, Dean. I appreciate your assistance there. And this is June 2nd, 2020. The Board of Commissioners of Franklin County is meeting. I want to remind everyone that so please maintain the form as though we are meeting in public. If you are calling in by phone, please mute your phone pressing *6. We will have questions from the media at the end of session. I know that Mr. Wilson and Ms. Long have asked for time. We'd like to recognize the extraordinary work of Public Facilities Management over the weekend. In particular, Director Darla Reardon and COO Vivian Alexander and Tim, the Deputy Director of Operations. Vivian ran point on the whole weekend, and she was available working 24/7 this weekend, long hours, and doing a fantastic job. We had some damage at a few of our facilities. I think 3 of our facilities at least, and not to mention at the Adam H facility, which is one of our levy agencies, and they did a fantastic job. In addition, we had support from our team and our friends at Elford, who has been a wonderful partner of ours for a long time. So we want to take this opportunity to thank them for the extra overtime work that they did this weekend in helping us to take care of things this over the weekend as the community faced a very difficult time. So thank you, Darla, Vivian, Tim, and the team at Elford, and all of your folks in PFM for the work that you guys did. Thank you. We appreciate it.
And commissioners, if I could just briefly also add 2 names to that list as well. Building manager Mike Frank and maintenance worker Lamont Kelly. They were on board and on site almost the entire weekend and available to step in at every step of the way. And so really the team did an extraordinary job, and we thank you, commissioners, for recognition of the work that they did. Thank you.
That's fantastic. It's above and beyond, and it's just part of the family of Franklin County that we owe a great debt of gratitude. So thank you.
All right. All right. So on that note, I'd like to begin the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Boyce.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, now I need a motion for the approval of the minutes of the May 26, 2020 administrative session with Health Commissioner Mazzola, the May 28th, 2020 briefing session, and the May 27th and 29th, 2020 administrative briefings.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
The minutes have been approved. Thank you.
Thank you. And now on to the engineer.
Resolution number 359-20. Resolution awarding contract and approving contract bond to Double Z Construction Company for the Rollsburg New Albany Road at Clark State Road improvements in the amount of $2,629,958.09.
Good morning, commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Cornell Robertson, county engineer for every resident every day. And commissioners, since I only have one resolution to present today, I ask if I could talk just a moment about racism. And I want to make it abundantly and crystal clear that I am against racism, both on a professional level and professional level as the leader of the Franklin County Engineers Office. And we are going to be working on a resolution to present to you here in the very near future of action items that we're going to take to do what we can in an effort to end racism. So thank you for that extra moment. Now, in regards,
Thanks, Cornell.
you're
Thank you.
quite welcome. Thank you for your leadership.
If I could just say, engineer, I really appreciate it as well. I think that it takes actions like that from a county engineer, who's not generally involved in the broader public policy stuff. Your work is very technical and very specific, but you understand that we all have a role to play, and it starts with committing to that notion, that I stand against racism, I stand against discrimination, and I stand to be a part of all people. And I think that says more than anything. And for commissioners, we kind of deal with a more broader spectrum. And so it's a little more obvious for us, but you are to be commended, sir, for taking that action. And I can tell you, I personally appreciate it, as I know my colleagues do as well. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Yep. Okay, so for this resolution, this is a capital improvement project in the northeast part of the county in Jefferson Township. It's at the intersection of Reynoldsburg, New Albany Road and Clark State Road. This project is a collaborative effort with Franklin County and ODOT, where we'll utilize federal safety funds to build a roundabout. This particular resolution is a construction contract award with Double Z. We had a competitive bid on May 12th. We had 6 bidders, and Double Z had the lowest and best bid. Pending any questions, I recommend your approval. Thanks.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 0359-20.
Second,
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 359-20 has been adopted.
Thank you all very much.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Now,
All right. Treasurer's office?
Resolution number 360-20, resolution authorizing a contract with Mapsys Incorporated to provide requested support and maintenance to the Franklin County Treasurer application in the amount of $95,000.
Good morning, Elise Thomas, Budget and Purchasing Coordinator for the Treasurer. And we are seeking the contract with Mapsys. They are in our efforts to ensure the advancing technology of our Franklin County tax support system. They will support and maintain that application for a period of 6 months.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 360-20.
second,
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 360-20 has been adopted.
Thank you. Adam H., Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Board.
Resolution number 361-20. Resolution declaring it necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation and requesting the auditor by the total current tax valuation of the county and the dollar amount of revenue generated by the tax levy.
Good morning, Commissioners. Zach Slarick with the Office of Management and Budget and member of the Human Services Levy Review Committee. On behalf of the committee, we are presenting this resolution requesting the county auditor to certify the dollar amount that would be collected from a proposed renewal of an existing 2.2 mil levy with an increase of 0.65 mils that would first be collected in 2022 for the support of mental health, substance abuse treatment, and prevention services for children and adults. The proposed levy would cost the homeowner of a $100,000 house a total of $82.61. This would be an increase of $22.75 above the current levy collections of $59.86. This would be the first increase since 2007, following approval of the 2.2 mil replacement levy at the November 2005 general election. Due to the economic uncertainty caused by the global COVID-19 pandemic, the committee is preparing to recommend this 5-year 2.85 mil levy, which is a shorter term and more modest millage increase than the original Adam H. request. Unlike previous years, when the auditor certification is requested after completion of its final report and recommendations, the committee is requesting for the certification be approved today, 4 weeks earlier than the original timeline, so that Adam H. can update its analysis, revise its performance indicators, and gauge public support and awareness of this levy in light of the pandemic before asking the commissioners to consider placing the levy on the November ballot. The committee intends to have the final levy report with its recommendations presented to the commissioners on June 19th. Following receipt of this report and the subsequent analysis by Adam H., a second resolution to certify the ballot language would be presented for your consideration on the July 14th agenda if the decision is made to move forward with a levy request at the November 3rd general. Pending any questions, would ask for your approval of this resolution.
So I just want to be, President O'Grady, may I?
Please, please.
Thank you. So I want to make sure that what the action that we're taking today is simply requesting the auditor to certify the total current valuation. So that's essentially certifying that the numbers are accurate in order to illustrate what they actually mean when it comes to what they'll generate tax. Is that correct?
That is correct, Commissioner. And that's the first step is required by Chapter 5705 of the revised code before a ballot language could be submitted to the Board of Elections. But you are correct.
Sure. Well, let me just briefly say I want to thank Adam H. for quickly getting me much of the materials that I had asked for after the briefing. And I have to be honest with you, I have not had the opportunity to really dig into them like I want. A lot's happened since our briefing last Thursday, but I do plan to do that. I also want to just say that, you know, we're all very much exposed to the impact that the COVID-19 has created in terms of spikes in mental health needs and other addiction and substance abuse services that they offer. And so I don't think it's a question about need as much as it is me looking at the broader picture. And I say that to say I'm not fully committing to voting in support of the increase when we present that for the ballot language. I want to learn more about our options. I've asked the administration to just at least examine and assess the potential use of HEROES Act dollars or COVID-19 dollars to support the short-term spikes in these areas. And I want to just have a better analysis, pardon me, on the property tax, the current levy structure, what's queued up for renewal, what's queued up for increases in the future. I think Adam H. is critical to the safety net services that we're part of. But I think this time is an extraordinary financial environment. I was on a call yesterday with one of the leading financial advisory firms in the nation, briefing us on what the market is doing with regards to taxes and bonds and different things. And it's such a volatile environment right now, and we don't still have the bottom in sight. It's hard for me to feel ready to commit. Now, let me just say that the idea of what we're committing is there. I mean, it's a no-brainer in terms of the priority. I just wonder about the big picture. So with that being said, I'm voting yes for the record for this resolution, but I wanted to just be clear that I'm not necessarily a yes to put the resolution forward when it comes, you know, but I'm doing my homework. My colleagues are a little more experienced than I in this matter. And so I have to get caught up and spend some time catching up to where they are in terms of their knowledge about the levy structure and the property tax background. So I'll have that to say, yes, I'm gonna vote for this, but I'm gonna hold, for the record, I'm gonna hold for my vote in the future. I'm not sure where I'm gonna go. So that, if there are no comments or questions, further comments or questions.
No,
Move for adoption of 361-20.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes,
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 361-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
thank you.
Thank you.
Emergency management. Emergency management.
Resolution number 362-20. Resolution authorizing a contract with Commercial Control Services Incorporated for the upgrade of the Franklin County Emergency Management and Homeland Security Facility burglar alarm system, video camera system, and key card access system in the amount of $33,371.21.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jeff Young, representing Franklin County Emergency Management and Homeland Security. And with me on the call is Deputy Director Daryl Korber. Before you is a resolution to approve a contract for a new security system, camera system, and access card reader for Franklin County Emergency Management and Homeland Security's office. The current system has exceeded its service life and is supported by a computer that is no longer has an operating system that can be supported and is vulnerable to failure and complete loss of our security system. New system will allow us to move to a more reliable hosted solution, providing full video coverage that may be remotely monitored. Deputy Director Korber is managing this contract and project and is available to answer any questions, and we ask for your approval of this resolution.
Okay, sounds good to me. If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 362-20.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 362-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Job and Family Services.
Resolution number 363-20, resolution authorizing non-general fund supplemental appropriations for social services contracts, staff overtime, and other operating expenses.
Good morning, Commissioners. Vivian Turner, Assistant Director. We are requesting a little less than $3.9 million in supplemental non-general fund appropriations. These appropriations are needed for state-approved Medicaid overtime projects, anticipated increases in our prevention, retention, and contingency program, and other community needs, and for the COVID-19 response PRC emergency assistance payments from earlier this March. We have sufficient resources available as a result of receiving additional federal subsidies totaling over $4.1 million. I want to note that this request for supplemental appropriations does not include the $1.5 million in CARE Act dollars that you have authorized to support our new PRC Plus rental assistance program that will be covered under a future resolution. Pending any questions, I request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 363-20.
Vivian, I'll second this, but I do have a question. You'll be tracking this with our other COVID-19 expenses, won't you?
Are you referring to the program that was formally approved or the new PRC Plus program?
Yes,
we will.
You'll
Yes.
be tracking.
Yes, we'll be able to say who we served and how many families we were able to support with that program.
Great. Thank you. Second.
Thank you. Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 363-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, and let me extend my appreciation for the Commissioner's leadership during what has been a very difficult week. Just wanted to say we really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian. Justice Policy and Programs.
Resolution number 364-20, resolution authorizing a contract extension with Alvis Incorporated for the provision of transitional housing for justice-involved females participating in the Pathways Achieving Recovery through Choice program under the fiscal year 2018 Comprehensive Opioid Site-Based Grant Program in the amount of $25,185.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michael Daniels, Director of the Office of Justice Policy and Programs. This contract would authorize a one-year contract extension with Alvis. We currently have set aside for us dedicated a two-bed, one-room apartment in their supported living facility that's dedicated so that it's always available for our Pathways ladies. We have the option of extending that contract, and we would like to act on that extension. Pending any questions, we'd ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 364-20.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 364-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners. And I'd also like to add in this time, we asked and got approval for the chair and the vice chair of the Criminal Justice Planning Board yesterday to issue an emergency resolution authorizing this office to move forward with forming a select committee on racism and racial inequity, working toward decreasing the disparity between races in terms at time of arrest, at time of arraignment, at time of sentencing, and while on community control, to reduce those disparities by 50% over the next essentially 4 calendar years. Really appreciate Commissioner Brown's leadership, Judge Barrow's leadership, and this office is 100% committed to being deeply involved in the conversation and making the policy recommendations necessary to achieve those goals. Thank you.
This is necessary, and thank you for your leadership, Michael, and for your team's leadership. This is so necessary. If we don't make a difference in this arena, we haven't made a difference in the community either. So thank you.
Agreed.
Sorry, we are on to human resources.
Resolution number 365-20, resolution authorizing a contract with SFG Retirement Plan Consulting, LLC, for consulting services for the Franklin County Board of Commissioners.
Good morning, Commissioners. Sue Hamilton from the Department of Human Resources. Today for your consideration is a resolution to authorize FSG Retirement Planning Consulting to provide a deferred compensation program for all Franklin County employees. SFG Retirement Planning will design the plan, provide a menu of investments such as mutual funds and other securities, so that employees can choose to invest in them. They'll be the watchdog, keeping an eye on all the investments in the plan. They'll implement it and be the liaison between the employees and the record keeper. This is a no cost to the county proposal, which, as you know, is typical with investment plans. SFG has been in business for over 30 years, is a registered investment advisor through the Securities Exchange Commission with 0 issues and/or complaints ever filed. Pending any questions, I respectfully request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 365-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 365-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
My only comment, I didn't get a chance to get a comment. My only comment would have been this is just another great option for our employees. So thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Purchasing Department.
Resolution number 366-20, resolution approving purchases for various Franklin County agencies in the amount of $443,790.25.
Good morning, Commissioners. Megan Perry Valanier, Director of Purchasing. This resolution requests your approval of 42 purchase orders for which the county auditor has pre-certified available funding. This week, 4 out of 9 eligible POs totaling $53,292 are being presented for award to 1 women business enterprise, 2 small emerging business enterprises, and 1 disadvantaged business enterprise. This represents 44% of the eligible PO volume and 46% of the eligible PO dollar value. Pending any questions, I request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 366-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 366-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
All right, to the Board of Commissioners.
Excuse me. 367-20, a resolution approving the issuance of healthcare facilities revenue refunding and improvement bonds, Series 2020, the Wesley Communities Obligated Group Project of the Franklin County, Ohio, in 1 or more series in an original aggregate principal amount not to exceed $100 million, and consenting to and approving the execution and delivery of leases, subleases, and a trust indenture connection with the issuance of such Series 2020 bonds.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Drew Linenbaum with Dinsmore and Scholl as bond counsel, And I'm here this morning with Bob Weiner, the Chief Financial Officer of the Wesley Communities. As you're aware, the Wesley Communities is a nonprofit senior living organization with 3 campuses here in Central Ohio. Wesley Glen on the Worthington-Clintonville border, Wesley Ridge in Reynoldsburg, and Wesley Woods at New Albany. This resolution approves the issuance by the county through the Hospital Commission of its healthcare revenue bonds for the benefit of Wesley Communities. The bonds would be issued in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $100 million pursuant to Chapter 140 of the Ohio Revised Code. Proceeds of the bonds will be used by the Wesley Communities and its affiliates in order to refinance several prior series of bonds issued through Franklin County and the city of Reynoldsburg for debt service savings. Depending on the status of the senior living market at the time this issue goes to market, there may also be bonds issued for new money projects on the Wesley Woods and Wesley Glen campus. The bonds will be underwritten by BC Ziegler. The Hospital Commission met last Wednesday, held the required public hearing, and approved the issuance unanimously. It's important to note that these bonds are backed solely by the revenues of the Wesley Communities. These bonds are not general obligations of Franklin County or any other political subdivision, and no tax dollars are put at risk. So with that, Bob and I are happy to answer any questions you might have.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 367-20.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 367-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Dean, I'm sorry, Clerk Hindenlang, do we happen to have any journalizations today?
Not this morning, Commissioner.
Okay, then that concludes our business for June 2nd. We will, while I'm certain that we will have many opportunities to talk over the next several days, we will see everybody back here for this meeting next week on June 9th. We have an administrative briefing in approximately 29 minutes.
And Commissioner, if there are any questions from the media as well, Mark.
Oh, I apologize. Mr. Kovac or any other media that happens to be on.
It's okay.
The session this morning.
Did I mishear? Did Michael Daniels say something about an emergency resolution and a select committee on racism and racial equity? What was that all about?
I'll send you all the details, Mark. I'll just email you the documentation for the details.
Okay, is that something the commissioners already approved? Did I miss that? Or
It's an action taken by the Criminal Justice Planning Board, not by the Board of Commissioners.
Right.
Okay, but commissioners, you all obviously must support that move, I assume.
Sure we do.
Yes.
Of course.
Mark, do you need us to take more actions on racism? We're happy to do that.
Do you have anything else in the works for the immediate future here? I mean, obviously the county's been working on this. I'm working on a number of things for a long time. Anything else coming down the pipeline immediately in response to some of the outpouring of stuff that's going on down here?
Yeah, I mean, we'll be there'll be a press conference later today at 1:30 at the Columbus Urban League that I'll be a part of. I think Commissioner O'Grady is going to be there, and I know Commissioner Brown supports, where a coalition has developed in the community that is going to endorse and embrace a number of recommended changes that the city has queued up through a consultant and work that they did, as well as our work in poverty and the declaration of racism as a public health crisis. And so, Mark, the thing what you got to remember about our work, we're doing technical work around this stuff, but it's also designed to spur other things to happen. And this is the way it's supposed to work, in my opinion, where it's supposed to take a life of its own with other cities, agencies, businesses, so forth and so on. And so we're accomplishing, in my mind, every time we're seeing these things, these pop-up resolutions or pop-up actions, I think it is a part of our advocacy to do it. So to me, it's working. That this is what is supposed to happen.
Yeah,
I would agree. I would also add that I know that the business community members are doing their own resolutions and doing changes in their own companies, spurred by a lot of the work that we did, but not just that. I think they're seeing things in the community that are spurring the changes that they want to make. And I know they'll be part of the press conference today. They'll be attending, and I don't know if they'll be participating, but I know they'll be alongside those that are signing on to a lot of the resolutions. And hundreds of the businesses have already signed on to the city's resolution to make changes in their own companies. And I think that's what makes this work so much possible, to make the changes that need to really make the change in this community, is that it's not just us, it's not just the city, it's everybody working together in their own arenas, but working together toward the same actions that need to happen. And that's what's going to really cause the changes that need to be made.
So, Mark, to both Kevin and Marilyn's points, we passed our resolution. We've been doing our work for the last couple of years, and folks have taken notice, not only across the community here, but across the state, across the country. And now folks are starting to follow suit. City of Columbus passed a resolution last night supported by the mayor. I talked to county commissioners from across the state yesterday. The city of Cleveland has followed suit in Cuyahoga County. Executive Budish thanked me yesterday, thanked the Board of County Commissioners of Franklin County yesterday. But I was on the call with him, so he thanked me, but he thanked us because they used our blueprint in Cuyahoga County. They used our language to pass a resolution, or are getting ready to pass a resolution in Cuyahoga County declaring racism a public health crisis in Cuyahoga County. So exactly what Commissioner Boyce and Commissioner Brown just said is happening. We've laid the groundwork. We went out and did this, and now people are following suit. People are paying attention. People are noticing it. We got coverage last week, a couple of weeks ago, on CNN and on NBC or ABC. Got national coverage, and people took notice. People took notice at NACO and throughout the country. And so, you know, we started this work. We named racism, you know, the number one problem in our poverty struggles and our poverty battle here in Central Ohio. And we have been, you know, calling racism for what it is here in Central Ohio, and we are continuing to try to do the work, and people are now taking notice and following suit. So, you know, Kevin keeps calling, you know, Marilyn and I out and saying that we're great partners. Kevin's a great partner. Kevin's a great leader on this issue. So is Marilyn, and it's a great. And as are people like Administrator Wilson, Director Bivens, our deputy county administrators. It's a team. We're all work. Our staff supports us in everything we do. It's a team. So, and it's easy work to do when you're all rowing in the same direction, and you all have each other's backs, and so anyway, and now folks are taking notice, and it's gratifying yesterday to have Executive Budish thank us for giving them a blueprint to make it easy for them to do what they're doing in county. So.
I have one other unrelated question. I'm sorry, Commissioner Boyce, I didn't want to interrupt if you were about to say something.
No, I wasn't about to say anything.
This is Kenneth Wilson, County Administrator. I was just going to add one final point on this topic. There's a resolution in the works that will be briefed soon. The Board of Commissioners will be supporting in a collaboration with Franklin County Public Health, the hiring of an Associate Director of Equity and Inclusion. And this position will provide strategic oversight and lead efforts in the community, creating partnerships and collaborations and alliances that will help Franklin County Public Health equity-based initiatives and priorities. And this position will be focused on race, disability, LGBTQ, and culturally and historically underserved communities. So this is going, again, as you know, under the board's guidance, we're gonna have a lot of actions associated with the declaration of racism as a public health crisis.
The only other unrelated question I had was your meeting with the governor today, the county meeting with the governor. Is that open media or is that closed media?
You talking about the one today at 1:30?
Yeah, the one today.
You know, that's for the media. That's for media.
No. The governor, meeting with the governor.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's at 4 o'clock. Eric, Janice, you can answer that question.
Yeah, I think it's intended to be a closed meeting, commissioners.
Well, that's too bad. But, okay.
Sorry, Mark.
That's all right. Thanks for taking my questions as always.
Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Thanks. Anything else, anybody?
No,
Nope.
All right. Well,
good to see you all.
You too. We'll talk to you guys all about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.